I've said and
The
things that I've
earthquake in the
done.
courtroom,
Right. She's saying
only when
feels
the
like
clerk read the verdict out loud, was the Las Vegas courtroom standing room only. Reporters in the corridor heard the muted gasp reverberating through the crowd despite the fact that cameras were not permitted inside. Mary Brown and Janelle Brown are hereby granted judgment. Robyn's well-groomed hands, which had been holding her lawyer's arm, suddenly relaxed. Her face was devoid of color. She looked from the judge to Kody and blinked quickly, pleading with him in silence to convince her that this was not true. However, Kody remained stopped, his eyes unfocused and his lips slightly parted as if he had just been informed that his own home was falling into quicksand. The decision was harsh. The $1.2 million Flagstaff mansion and other property transactions Kody made to Robyn were determined by the court to be fraudulent conveyances intended to keep assets out of the hands of Mary and Janelle when they requested their part. Hey, hello everybody. Welcome back to my channel, TLC Flicks. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. The home was ordered to be seized and liquidated by the judge, with Mary and Janelle receiving the earnings directly. As reality set in, the courtroom echoed with Robyn's ragged breathing. She had lost her home. She had lost her financial lifeline. Furthermore, if Mary's lawyer's rumors were accurate, her reputation was going to be publicly destroyed. The eviction, a moving truck outside Robyn's mansion, was the unexpected sight that Flagstaff residents saw 2 weeks later. Wearing an enormous hoodie and leggings, she stood on the driveway, her hair pulled back in an untidy bun, and she was crying as she gave the movers directions. A few of the boxes, which had ragged, sharper labels that read kitchen, kids' rooms, and tellingly, legal papers do not lose, were stacked carelessly. Across the street, neighbors muttered. One whispered, "She always acted like she was above everyone. Now look." Kody strolled behind the truck, kicking at the gravel every now and again and grumbling to himself. Sweat had flattened his golden curls.
The things that I look for. Like, I want to find a man who's very intentional. If there is a guy who says, I'd be interested in getting to know you. Okay, well then make the steps to make that happen. Don't sit there and expect me to be the one to text or call you all the time. I think it's very important that he is the one who reaches out to me. The whole chivalry is not dead thing, that's not dead with me. Like, a guy needs to make the effort. I think that's very important. He needs to open the door for me. He needs to pay for the date. If a guy were to say, yeah, let's go half-seas on the date, it's like,
And his face was pallid and strained. The man who had once boasted of being a lion protecting his pride appeared completely defeated for the first time in years. The eviction officer's tone was professional but icy when he eventually came close. The deadline is 4 p.m. to leave the property. Robyn's mouth clenched. Her voice was shaking as she shouted, "This isn't right." However, the officer remained unflinching. "The court order is in effect, ma'am." Mary's moment. Mary was sitting at her recently remodeled inn 300 meters away, drinking coffee and browsing her phone's news coverage. The headlines were, "Mouth-watering changes in the Brown family. Robyn loses mansion in court decision. After a legal loss, a sister-wife star faces eviction." It was Janelle who buzzed on her phone. "Have you noticed it?" Janelle's voice seemed almost radiant. Mary smiled mischievously and leaned back in her chair, saying, "Oh, I saw it." Mary had been humiliated for years by being marginalized in her own marriage, while Robyn dominated Kody's affections and their wealth. The roles had now been reversed for the first time in 10 years. Mary remarked, "She believed she could bury us under her fake tears. Well, she's actually crying now." Kody's disintegration. Something inside Kody was broken by the eviction. At strange hours, friends saw him driving around Flagstaff aimlessly, parked outside restaurants, but never entering. He told producers he needed time to regroup, and completely halted filming for TLC, but crew members said he was simply too embarrassed to be in front of the cameras. He blew up when a tabloid reporter questioned him about the court case. "Do you believe Mary and Janelle prevailed? They lost. The entire family was defeated. It's a corrupt system." However, Kody felt in his heart that he had been outplayed. Robyn's involvement in property transfers and financial shell games was discovered by a forensic accountant that Mary and Janelle had hired and kept thorough records of. His defense was shattered by the indisputable proof. The last hit. Robyn was seen at a small rented house outside of Flagstaff 2 months after the eviction. The walk-in closets, the grand staircase, and the beautifully groomed gardens were all gone. Now, as the children quarreled over homework, she folded clothing in a small living room. Bitter and agitated, Kody had started sleeping in a different room. The man who had once assured Robyn of a stable life was now barely able to cover her rent for the next month. Meanwhile, Mary and Janelle quietly completed the process of transferring assets into their personal trusts. They were flourishing, not simply getting by. Janelle was growing her business. Months in advance, Mary was making reservations for her inn, and they both knew that the money wasn't the best victory. It was watching Robyn Brown experience the precise public humiliation she had thought would never befall her. The plot starts. Robyn was sitting stooped over her laptop in the dim kitchen of the apartment 3 weeks after the eviction. She was surrounded by empty coffee mugs, which resembled miniature ceramic troops. She had been crying and staring at her screen for hours, and her eyes were red. A yellow legal pad with wild scrawls on it was on the table. A lawsuit for defamation, make Mary's secrets public, look for dirt on Janelle, use the TLC contract. Kody entered wearing the same hoodie he had been wearing for days, his hair still unkempt. "What's all this, Robyn?" he choked. She remarked, "It's how we fight back. We will not sit here and watch Mary and Janelle dance on our cumes. I will ensure that the people is aware of their true selves." However, Kody merely rubbed his temples and moaned. "They want us to become desperate and foolish, and this is exactly what they want." The media's action disregarding Kody's caution, Robyn contacted a moderate gossip blogger she had met while on TLC's press trips. In return for on-air quotes, the blogger promised her an exclusive, sympathetic piece. The headline appeared 2 days later. Robyn Brown speaks out. She was once called family, but sister wives betray her. According to the report, Robyn accused Mary and Janelle of plotting for years to destroy her marriage and reputation, and she described herself as the victim of decades of jealousy. In the hopes that the nebulous charges would arouse public suspicion, she alluded to dark truths about both women, but refrained from providing specifics. The idea seemed to work for 48 hours. Social media was ablaze with controversial discussions. A few devoted supporters stood up for her. But then, after that, Mary's retaliation. Until now, Mary had been mute following the expulsion. With her hair done to perfection and a blazer that said, "I came to win," she went live on Instagram. "Does Robyn want to talk about betrayal?" Mary started with a voice as calm as glass. "That's fine. Let's talk." Mary methodically broke down Robyn's story over the course of the next half hour, displaying real receipts that proved Robyn was involved in the property transfers, as well as text messages in which Robyn pleaded with Kody to move quickly before they catch on. Mary concluded, "I didn't ruin Robyn's life. She ruined her own when she decided that greed was more important than family." The live broadcast became widely popular. Hashtags like #BuyRobyn and #MaryWins became popular. The public reaction. When Robyn woke up the next morning, her phone was exploding with angry direct messages and offensive memes. "Robyn, after losing the house she stole," was the title for a viral TikTok that saw her pretending to cry during a previous Sister Wives episode. Sponsors that had previously given her free merchandise quietly stopped communicating with her. Mary and Janelle's posts seemed to receive more attention on TLC's social media than hers did. Kody was furious. "I warned you not to prod the bear," he yelled. "Now you've painted us as liars and them as saints." The ultimate disgrace. Robyn came up without an invitation to a public charity event featuring keynote speakers Mary and Janelle. The only sound in the room was the scratch of the ink. "You just took advantage of me to get a paycheck." Kody didn't raise his head. "To ensure that we wouldn't be eating ramen for a year, I sold out of both of us." TLC's declaration. TLC did not waste time. A news announcement appeared on all entertainment websites within 48 hours. Kody Brown to reconnect with former wives as TLC renews Sister Wives for an exciting new season. The purposeful use of the term former wives served as a clear reminder that Robyn was not one of them. Videos of Robyn's recent sad interviews and Kody's awkward smile next to Meri and Janelle from previous seasons were shown side by side on entertainment shows. It was a harsh contrast. Janelle and Meri's triumphant lap. Meri and Janelle took center stage for TLC's first promotional shoot, which was held at Meri's Inn. They were caught on camera laughing together while enjoying coffee and looking through photo albums on the porch. Meri grinned when a reporter inquired about her experience filming with Kody again. "Working with people who value the family is pleasant," she remarked. "The focus on people was a silk-wrapped razor blade. And it's good to know the show's focusing on the real history, not distractions," Janelle continued. Everyone understood that Robyn was a distraction. The public outburst of Robyn with an Instagram video shot from her vehicle. Robyn attempted to retaliate. She cried, "They're rewriting the truth. They're attempting to remove me from the family's narrative. I'm Kody's wife, and I was his wife." However, the comment section was overrun with gifs of popcorn, laughing emoticons, and reminders of her court defeat rather than sympathy. The cries seemed to wear out even her surviving fans. The season's first episode, TLC was very clear about their editorial decision when the new season debuted. As lively music played, Kody walked into Meri's Inn and gave her and Janelle hugs in the first episode. The next shot showed Robyn by herself in her rental, silently gazing out the window. The ratings went crazy. Posts from #Team Mari and #Team Janelle flooded social media, and jokes about #Poor Rowan became commonplace. And Robyn came to the unimaginable realization somewhere in her small rental home. She had thought she was the Brown family's queen for years. However, she was now only a supporting character in someone else's happy ending. The attorney's office. The current season's opening scene took place in a modern downtown Flagstaff law office rather than a comfortable homeroom. Robyn was seated across from Vanessa Cortez, a lawyer who was shrewd, bold, and obviously dubious of her client. After placing the TLC news release on the table, Robyn remarked, "They can't just cut me out. I've spent years on this show. I am a part of its past." Vanessa's fingers were steepled. Contractually, yes, they can. However, she bent forward. Maybe. We have a case if you can demonstrate that your removal was a part of a deliberate effort to harm your reputation. Robyn's eyes brightened. "Janelle and Meri, they have been plotting for many years." The danger. Within a week, TLC officials received a thick envelope stamped legal notice. She was also ready to release extensive behind-the-scenes records detailing producer manipulation, stage scenes, and personal misconduct. According to the letter, the danger struck TLC headquarters like a bomb. A few executives desired a quiet settlement. Some said she was playing a bluff. "Call her bluff," urged Dana, the same executive who had iced her in Part 3. "We will respond with nuclear force if she chooses to do so." Kody's rage. Kody lost it when he learned about the case. "My show is being sued. TLC is the only reason we aren't insolvent," he yelled as he paced the living room of the rental like a pet in a cage. Robyn's tone faltered. "Kody, they made me look bad. You let them too." Kody struck the counter with his fist. "You're going to ruin our last remaining lifeline with yelling, accusations, and threats of divorce." It was the most ugly argument they had ever had in their marriage. Reporters were then told by neighbors that they heard shouting and glass breaking that evening. The countermove of Janelle and Meri. Sensing blood in the water, Meri and Janelle went into full PR mode. In a joint interview with People magazine, they emphasized truth-telling and transparency on the program. "We've had enough drama without creating it," Meri remarked, blatantly referencing Robyn's lawsuit. "We've made progress," Janelle continued. "It seems impossible for some people to achieve it." They were portrayed in the article as strong survivors, but Robyn came across as resentful and unappreciative. The deposition mishap. By accelerating Robyn's deposition, TLC's attorneys called her bluff. She was compelled to acknowledge under testimony that many of her damaging statements regarding Mary and Janelle were based more on her own suspicions than on concrete proof. Even worse, Robyn's claim of manipulation was undermined when the network's lawyers presented unseen text conversations from producers demonstrating that Robyn had requested that certain situations be staged to make her appear sympathetic. The legal team left the deposition almost grinning. The public collapse. The deposition was leaked. The following headlines appeared in tabloids. Robyn Brown's TLC case disintegrates. Found to have exaggerated under oath. Overnight, her remaining fan base vanished. The sponsors who had silently supported her left. Some members of her extended family even stopped answering the phone. Angry and embarrassed, Kody started staying away from the property for nights. Social media went into overdrive when it was rumored that he was staying in a guest room at Mary's Inn. The season's end for the finale. TLC capitalized on the pandemonium. While Kody was filming in another city with Mary and Janelle, cameras captured Robyn sitting by herself at the kitchen table with piles of overdue bills in front of her. With tears running down her cheeks, Robyn remarked, "I thought I'd be the last wife standing. Now, the family story doesn't even include me." The finale ended with a terrible last image. Robyn watching from her phone screen in the dark rental as Mary, Janelle, and Kody entered a restaurant and laughed together. A far cry from the self-assured, untouchable woman she previously was. The season ended with the sound of her suppressed cries. Rock bottom. The season began with the stark image. Robyn eating cold cereal straight from the box in the dim kitchen of the rental at 2 a.m. alone. Her sweater was stained and her hair was disheveled. Unopened mail, some with the label "Final Notice," were heaped high in the background. Her bank account was all but gone since the litigation fiasco. Even Kody's on-camera payments were no longer much of a help since the joint ventures of Mary and Janelle held the majority of the money, and TLC had terminated all future earnings using their contract breaches. Robyn acknowledged in a private confessional, "I used to think being quiet and sweet would protect me. Now, I realize that nobody is coming to my aid." The rebranding. Robyn started a new social media initiative called Second Chances with Robyn because she was determined not to be known as the antagonist. She recorded herself going to secondhand stores, baking cookies with her children, and discussing humility and starting over. Some fans offered tentative support at first. However, she continued to receive accusations of crocodile tears and rebranding for sympathy in her comments area. Then she committed the fatal error when she moaned about the cost of bread at the grocery store in one video, wearing a gold Cartier bracelet that she neglected to remove. For all the wrong reasons, the video went viral. The surprising call. Robyn's phone rang one soggy afternoon with an unknown number. She nearly ignored it when the voice on the other end said, "Robyn, it's Christine." Now on the line was the woman who had been her harshest critic, who had publicly referred to her manipulating on national television.
Unexpectedly, Christine's tone was neutral. Christine remarked, "I believe we can support one another. Come see me in person. No cameras." The proposal, a tiny cafe on the outskirts of town, is where they first met. A manila envelope was slid across the table by Christine. Copies of outdated production schedules, unutilized film logs, and brief excerpts of Kody's talks with TLC executives that had never been shown were all found within. "This stuff, it might destroy Kody's entire golden boy persona," Christine remarked, "and we both gain if we leak it correctly." Robyn squinted her eyes. "Why assist me?" Christine sipped her coffee while leaning back. Because I'm not interested in him winning, and you're the only one who is desperate enough to stick with me for the long haul right now. The covert agreement, Robyn consented, but only if Christine would ensure that Mary and Janelle were unaware of the impending attack. The two met covertly over the course of the following month, exchanging notes and obtaining old receipts from their own archives. Robyn was astounded by the amount of dirt Christine had, including proof that Kody had scolded crew members, made fun of his own children off camera, and even tried to get family members removed from contracts in exchange for more personal compensation. One night, as she flipped through the papers, Robyn murmured, "This is nuclear." Christine grinned. Exactly. The disclosure, Entertainment Tonight released an exclusive one morning. Kody Brown's explosive off-camera behavior is revealed in Sister Wives' leaked footage. Videos showing Kody yelling at a producer, disparaging one of his kids, and making fun of Mary's inn went viral right away. The fans were taken aback. Globally, the hashtags #BrownFamilyTruth and #KodyExposed became popular. TLC hurried to repair the damage. Even if Mary and Janelle openly separated from Kody, the harm had already been done. The unexpected resolution. Kody approached Robyn in the living room of the rental in the season's last episode. With a trembling voice, he claimed, "You did this." It wasn't denied by Robyn. "Kody, you left me with nothing. I told you that when you put someone in a tight spot, they will fight back." Christine, who had been waiting in the house as the cameras were rolling for the big reveal, came out of the hallway. Robyn and Christine exchanged a knowing glance as the season concluded with a close-up of Kody's face, which was equal parts realization and wrath. The master plan of TLC, with their eyes shining like gamblers with a royal flush, TLC executives convened in Los Angeles. Season 3 leaks had skyrocketed the show's ratings. Blood was what the network wanted, and they wanted it captured on camera. The idea was simple yet lethal. A host would encourage Kody, Robyn, Mary, Janelle, and Christine to share everything at the multi-day filmed reunion known as the Brown Family Truth Summit. "We don't just give the fans closure, we give them a spectacle they'll never forget," Dana, the CEO, who had removed Robyn in Season 2, told the crew. The request's mandatory filming was the carefully worded invitation. "If you don't show up, you'll be in violation of the contract and lose all of your money." Mary and Janelle sensed another victory lap and didn't hesitate. Knowing she could give Kody the death shot on video, Christine paused for 10 seconds or so before accepting. Robyn's hands were shaking as she read her letter 3 times. "It's a trap," she whispered. Kody merely grunted. "We're done if we don't show up. At least we get paid this way." The scene is prepared. The Truth Summit was held in a huge, opulent Sedona resort. The main area was set up like a cross between a boxing ring and a therapeutic circle, with comfortable chairs and gentle lighting, but cameras all over the place, including overhead rigs to capture every little expression. Lee Foster, the host, and an uncompromising investigative journalist began by saying, "We're here to either burn the bridge or clear the air. The truth will be revealed in any case." The first day was regulated but uncomfortable, with cold smiles and courteous jabs, but everyone knew it would blow up in no time. First to strike, Christine. "Kody, should we talk about the time you told the producers Mary's inn was a waste of camera time?" Christine nonchalantly dropped the bomb on day 2. Shocks. Kody flushed. "That is not in context." Christine interrupted him. "No, it's in context perfectly. I possess the audio." She pulled out her phone, pressed play, and sat back with a chilly smile as Kody's voice filled the room, disparaging Mary's company and calling it a dead end. Mary's restitution. Mary, not to be outdone, pulled out her own folder, color-coded and nicely tapped. Here is proof of all the money transfers Kody made to Robyn, while telling the others that there was nothing left, since we're sharing. Each number was like a kick to the gut. As she read it out loud, Robyn writhed and gazed at Kody, who seemed to want to sink into the chair.
The presenter Lee leaned closer. Robyn, were you aware that the rest of the family was not aware of these transfers? Robyn's tone faltered. I didn't think I had the right to question it. The mic picked up Christine's sharp sneer. The detonation civility had vanished by the final day. Kody came under fire from Janelle for weaponizing loyalty and pitting wives against one another. He is a man who can't lead without destroying what he's leading, according to Christine. Cornered and desperate, Robyn attempted to manipulate Mary by saying, "You were cold to me from the beginning." "I was cold because you came in with a knife and a smile," Mary interrupted. Lee had to get up and physically separate them as the yelling became out of control. This was TV gold, and producers dared not cut. The exit. The final scene of the season was chaotic. Kody ripped off his microphone and rushed out, slamming the lodge doors so forcefully that the cameras shambered. Mary, Janelle, and Christine stood together, almost laughing as Robyn ran after him, crying. In the final image, Robyn's sobs could be heard behind the three women as they walked out into the Sedona sunset. TLC hinted at the aftermath. Next season, after the credits, the visit of the sheriff, the crunch of tires on the icy driveway broke the still winter morning at Robyn's rental. Expecting a delivery truck, she peered through the blinds to see the county sheriff's USV arrive and two uniformed police get out. They had no intention of talking. They held a court order, its official seal shining in the cold light. "Mrs., this property is being repossessed with immediate effect. Robyn Brown, you must leave today." Her mouth dropped open in shock. "No, this isn't possible. I appealed." An officer gave a headshake. "Yesterday, the judge rejected it. Our purpose is to enforce the decision." The voices of the kids inside rippled down the hallway. When Robyn discovered that the cameras were already rolling and TLC had been following her for days, her hands began to shake. Sensing ratings gold, producers muttered urgently into earpieces. The triumph of Janelle and Mary. Mary and Janelle were in a cozy wood-paneled office across town signing documents, while Robyn was rushing. The lawyer handed the final papers over the gleaming table. He grinned and declared, "It's official. The court granted you both joint ownership of the Coyote Pass parcels along with complete legal authority over the family's media royalties that Kody transferred to Robyn's LLC. With a harsh, satisfied voice, Mary leaned back. "It feels good to finally have the truth acknowledged after years of being ignored." It was the first time Janelle had laughed in months. Robyn has been managing the family as if it were her own business. Today is the last day of that. Reporters crowded outside the courthouse. Mary didn't hesitate to say, "We're done being quiet," as she gazed directly into the cameras. The public outbursts of Robyn, the reporters had arrived by the time Robyn packed her last baggage into a rented pickup truck. Neighbors craned their necks to see the local news line the street. Halfway through the chaos, Kody appeared, with his worn leather jacket on, his eyes darting and his hair blowing in the wind. "This is harassment," he yelled at the reporters. "You are vultures." But when a reporter questioned him, "Kody, is it accurate to say that you and Robyn were found guilty of financial mismanagement by the court?" He froze. Robyn's face fell flat. "Everything is being twisted by them. All we wanted to do was keep our family safe." She was seen wiping her eyes and moaning, "They've taken everything from me." As they drove off, the book offer, Mary and Janelle were negotiating a collaborative memoir. At the same time, the publishing house requested a detailed account of the Brown family's disintegration, including financial documents, private correspondence, and behind-the-scenes accounts. "Are you ready for Robyn and Kody to sue?" the editor said at the first meeting. Janelle grinned. "Permission. The truth is the best defense." The woody began assembling years' worth of receipts, including questionable PayPal donations to Robyn's business account, handwritten notes, and bank transfers. The evidence grew more damning as they dug further. Kody and Robyn's seclusion. Robyn sat cross-legged on the floor of a small, two-bedroom apartment on the outskirts of town, unloading mismatched plates. Silence hung thick, uneasy and suspicious. Kody paced near the window. "They're watching us. They want to destroy us, so they're waiting for us to make one mistake." Robyn's tone faltered. They already have, Kody. He whirled around her. You dare not hold me responsible for this. They fought that night until the walls trembled, sending the sound into the cold night. Long after the yelling subsided, Robyn's